So we want to prep, but money is tight for a lot of people right now. So we need to think about prepping a little bit at a time, and we need to think about other sources for preps where we can save money. This video really isn't about other sources, but let me talk about them really quick. You got thrift stores, you got online marketplaces like Facebook, you got Craigslist, you got different sources like that. You also have estate sales, you also have garage sales. There's a lot of other ways to find your preps. But this video we're going to cover prepping a little bit at a time. Buying a little bit every time you go to the store, what you be getting, what you should be getting, and how to go about doing it. So let's get into the video. So in this video we're going to talk about getting a little extra every time you go to the store. And one thing you got to think about is, it's very important, is it's not just about calories. It's not just about how much food you have. It's also about having proper nutrition and making sure that what you're buying is going to meet your nutritional needs, keep you strong, keep you healthy, enable you to do all the things you need to do when you're in a really bad situation. So let's get started here. I'm going to show you, throw up some pictures here, and we're going to talk about some things that maybe you can get when you go to the store every time. Just a little bit at the store every time. One of the first ones is cans of veggies. Cans of veggies are very inexpensive, lots of variety. Buy what veggies you like. I mean, you got green beans, you got corn, you got lots of different options. So buy a variety for all the different nutrition that's in each and every one of those different vegetables. That's a very good thing to do. Next, we're going to talk about canned meat. Meat is very important as a protein for most people in their diet. Different people eat different things. Maybe you eat tuna a lot. Maybe you eat canned roast beef a lot, or chicken. These are different things to think about. Only buy what you will eat. But canned meat is a very good source of protein. That's a macronutrient. The protein, carbs, and fats. Those are your macronutrients. Your micronutrients are all your minerals and vitamins that you also need in your diet. So well-balanced diet is very important, especially when the world is going to heck around us and we need all the strength and all the energy and all the good health we can possibly get. So let's move on to the next item. Next item is bulk dry goods. I'm going to kind of hit on each one a little bit. Lots of times, the first thing that comes to people's mind is beans and rice, which is important. Yes, you can do beans and rice. That's a very inexpensive way to stockpile a lot of food, and it's a good source of protein, carbs, etc. Not fat, but we'll get to that later. Pasta is another one. A lot of people like pasta. That's a good thing to stockpile. Be mindful of these things that you're stockpiling with their shelf lives, though. That's also very important. You got to remember shelf life and to rotate through what you buy. But there's also lentils, corn, wheat. Buy what you'll actually use. Don't buy a bunch of buckets of hard red wheat if you don't have a grinder and you don't have any way, you don't know how to use them, you don't know how to make flour, make bread, and or sprout them. So one thing to note about wheat is if you sprout the wheat, it is exponentially more has more nutritional value than just the wheat itself. So that's one good thing to think about doing. Next, we're going to talk about canned and or freeze-dried fruit. And these are also the vegetables and the meats. You can also get freeze-dried versions of them also. Or you can get the TVP, the textured vegetable protein, which is usually soy. I don't really like soy, so that's not a good option for me. But fruit, it doesn't have a high caloric value, but the macro and the micronutrients are really important in fruit. So think about fruit. Buy cans of your favorite fruit. Another thing you can't forget about is spices. All this rice and beans and corn and wheat and stuff like that, you gotta have spices to make it taste good. So buy your favorite spices. Also, things like sugar, salt, and honey that don't really ever go bad. Those are good ways to go about adding to your food storage and spicing it up a bit, making it better for you. You'll be able to enjoy it more. It will improve your morale, which is also very important in an SHTF scenario. All right, next one is water containers and or water filters and or bottled waters. I usually pick up a case or two of bottled waters every time I go to the store. They used to be like $3 and something. Now they're like $5 or $6. So, you know, inflation's happening. But it's a good way to stockpile water. But having good quality water containers is also very important. And the ability to filter and or take care of your water so that it is drinkable. That's very important. All right, let's talk about the next thing would be, I just have on my list here, a tarp for shelter. Also, 550 cord or some other rope or cordage that you can tie your tarp up with. Tarps have lots of uses. So think about adding a tarp to your list every now and then. And some of these things you'll want to get every time, like the food stuff, I would get every single time I go to the store, a little bit here, a little bit there, same with water. But some of these items, it's just like every once in a while maybe you'll get something and then you'll have enough of them. So the next one would be lighters and or matches. A way to produce fire that's easy. Yes, you can use a ferro rod, you can use a bow and drill, you can use a canoe method, but let's just make it simple. Keep it simple, stupid. That's the way I like doing it. So lighters, why not? Next thing is blankets. Blankets keep you warm. You can use them for insulation. Lots of different uses. You guys know what you can use blankets for. The next thing I'd like to talk about is medical. Medical is very important, and it's an easy way to add to your preps slowly over time. Gauze, rolled gauze, compressed gauze, gauze pads, very, very useful in medical situations. Yes, you can throw in Band-Aids. They're useful, to a point. Also, 91% alcohol or higher. Think about cold medicines, pain meds. Now I'm talking over the counter. Get your prescription meds in order also, yes, but this is over the counter stuff. Also, don't forget anti-diarrheals and laxatives, because if you have diarrhea, you can die very quickly of dehydration. And laxatives, if you're stuffed up, you can't go, that could turn into a really bad situation also. So I know they're not, super exciting, but those are some important things to get when you're in the medical aisle. There's a lot of other things you can get, braces, bandages, all different kinds of wraps and stuff. Make sure that you're medically squared away. A lot of people aren't. Next thing I'd like to talk about is candles. Candles offer an off-grid source of light and can be used to produce a little bit of heat also. Going on to the next item, sewing kits. If we're in an extended event, we're not going to be able to just go down and buy new clothing. So we're going to be able to need to repair what we have. So sewing kits are very important to repair our clothing, our blankets, or anything that we use that's made out of fabric. Another thing along those lines with keeping stuff working and going long term would be things that you can use to repair things like duct tape, glue, shoe goo. Those are all items that are great to have in your preps for repairing items, keeping things in proper maintainable order, etc. So let's go into hygiene a little bit. A bar of soap is very inexpensive. You can pick up a bar of soap each time you go to the store, or some hand sanitizer, or some wet wipes. These are all good things to keep in mind for sanitation. If you're a female, you want to think about feminine hygiene products, etc. Another thing to get also is seeds, and I say both kinds. The ones you plant in the ground and grow food, and the freedom type. So think about those also. Don't forget to have flashlights and batteries for all the things that you need that use batteries. This is very important, and you can get them over time. You don't have to spend a bunch of money at once. Batteries are more expensive, yes, but you can do it. Another thing about getting food is thinking long term. Yes, you have food storage. Hopefully you have the ability to forage, hunt, fish. Oh, did I say fish? Go buy the fishing supplies. Get yourself a fishing pole, some extra lines, some lures, some different baits, some hooks, all those kind of things to have in a survival fishing kit. That's a really good thing to have. Another thing is go by the hardware section. Pick up some screws, nails, bolts, you know, those little hardware type items that are very useful in a lot of different situations. You never know when you're going to need them. Having some extra stuff, I have them in like a man jar. Put all my extra things in there and keep them on hand, because that's what my grandpa used to do. So check those kind of things out. As I talked about, these are all things you can get that are not that expensive. You can get slowly over time and a little bit each time as you go to the store. What I would do is write this stuff down on a list. Make a list of what you think you need to meet your needs, because your needs are different than my needs. And then what you do is you prioritize them and then write them in a list. And then pick an item or two or three, whatever your budget allows you to do, and each time you go to the store, get those items. Before you go to the store, pick out which items you want to get that trip. And or look at all the items on your list, go through and see which ones are maybe on sale or less expensive, and kind of tailor it to fit into your budget. But get a couple things each time you go to the store. You don't have to spend much money. I mean, you can literally do this for, you could do it for $2, $3, $4, $5 each time you go to the store. For some people, that may be a significant thing. We don't go to the store very often, so everybody goes to the store. If you go to the store every single day and spend $5, that's different than like us. We go to the store like once a week, sometimes twice a week. So it's very doable and it's very affordable. And remember that prepping isn't just something that you just go boom and you're done. I guess if somebody has a bunch of money, they just go to order everything and have it delivered and boom, but then they don't have skills and other things to think about. So I encourage you guys to get out, be prepared. I love you guys. Have a wonderful day, and blessings to you and yours.